What's up, guys? Welcome back to Premier League predictions game week 13. We are firmly going into the December fixtures, full steam ahead with a lot of games ongoing. Big fixtures this weekend, but not only that, over the course of the next 30 days, there's going to be hundreds of fixtures played. It's going to be utter insanity, but that is what we're here for. No one cares about international breaks or any of that, or Nations League or any of that crap. We're here for the Premier League and the Premier League only because it is the best league in the world. So, without further ado, guys, remember you have, going into these predictions, as always, for anyone who hasn't seen this before, actually, you get one barn burner and one banana skin. So, the barn burner will be for the game that you think could be a 4-3 or a 3-2. Quite a lot of goals. And then the banana skin is the one where you look at and you think they shouldn't lose, but I reckon they could in this one. Does that make sense? Okay, are you with me? Perfect. So, it's Friday today, and actually in a couple hours' time, we have Brighton versus Southampton. Hopefully, we'll get this up just before that game kicks off. But I didn't even realise that they were playing tonight, because Friday night football, a lot of people forget about that, don't they? So, you know, you can forgive me. But Brighton versus Southampton. So, Brighton currently level on points with Chelsea and Arsenal in the Premier League. And the big question would be, could they potentially sneak into a Champions League spot? Now, obviously, the favourites are going to be Chelsea's and Arsenal's, the clubs with a bit more history in that competition. But actually, I don't see why not. I think they play really good football. I think they've got a decent depth of talent. I look at players like João Pedro, Matoma, the experience with, I have to say Danny Ings, the experience with Danny Welbeck, Hinchelwood, I'm a big fan of. Obviously, they've got Duncan, who's very experienced, and they've been in Europe before. So I don't see why not. I don't see them tailing off at the moment. I think they can give any team in the Premier League a run for their money at the moment, and I think they'll keep building on it. If they do hit a patch, then we can talk about it. But I think they've been pretty solid so far, and obviously coming up against bottom of the league, who, in fairness to them, did put up a good fight against Liverpool. I just never ever see it with Southampton. And it sounds really harsh. I'm sorry to Southampton fans. But Brighton at home, I'm going to back them out. So let's see what happens tonight. We move to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, people. Brentford versus Leicester. Brentford, I believe in... Well, not I believe. I know they're in better form at the moment in terms of you look at the last 5 games. Leicester have been struggling a little bit. They've got a new manager going in, Mr. Ruud van Nistelrooy. That could be very, very interesting. I was quite surprised that they got rid of Sneeze Cooper. I almost called him his proper name then. Steve, what are you doing? Surprised they got rid of him because I thought if you want anyone in a relegation battle who's got a bit of experience, he quite literally kept Nottingham Forest up. So, but Leicester fans will probably know, well, will definitely know more than I do. But I was surprised by it. Leicester, however, do have a better head-to-head record. So now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think they balances it out at a draw. So I'll go Brentford, Leicester, 1-1 or 2-2. Take your pick. Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. Now, that West Ham defeat on Monday Night Football was huge. No one expected that. West Ham have been in pretty bad form. And Lopetegui, there was talks about him potentially being sacked. They went to Newcastle and beat them at St James's Park, which was a massive shock. One of the biggest shocks of the season for me personally. I know Newcastle haven't been amazing, but I just did not have that on my kind of bingo card for that to happen. So Newcastle a bit shaky at the minute. Crystal Palace got a good draw against Aston Villa. Are they starting to pick up form at the right time? I think this could be another draw. I think actually it could be a banana skin. This is where I'm going to put my little banana skin in. Oh, that sounds weird. This is where I'm going to put my banana skin. It still doesn't sound right, that, does it? Imagine someone walking in the room saying, I'm going to put my little banana. Ugh. Anyway, I think this could be banana skin. I think Palace might just get the job done. And a lot of question marks on Eddie Howe. Moving on to the next game, Nottingham Forest versus Ipswich. Obviously, I know Ipswich very well, being a Manchester United fan, all that business. We drew against them on the weekend, played good football. They're not a bad team. They're not a bad team, but they either seem to get a draw or a loss, though. They only had 1 win. And that was over Spurs, and Spurs on any given day, anyone can beat them. So this one, I do expect Nottingham Forest to bounce back after that loss to Arsenal, but I don't think it'll be like a resounding win. I think it'll be 1-0 or a 2-1. And then the last of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we've got Wolves versus Bournemouth. If you would have asked me this a few weeks ago, I would have had it nailed on with Bournemouth, the form that they was in, the job IRO is doing, which is still doing an incredible job, absolutely. But, you know, Bournemouth haven't won for a few games. Wolves have won their last 2. You've got Mateus Cunha, who definitely deserves a massive move to another club. The ability that kid has is unbelievable. I'd actually take him at United. He's going to cost quite a bit, but he's a serious player. And when you have players like that, and when you are at Molineux at home, I don't know. I think Wolves might get another win, you know. I might be going against the grain a bit, but I think they might get another win. Yeah, you know what? I'll go with a Wolves win. Half 5, West Ham versus Arsenal. I mentioned before that off the back of a 2-0 win, over Newcastle at St James's Park. But I do feel like Arsenal are slowly bouncing back now into form, just gradually, because still you look at the last 5 results, it's not great, but you look at what they did in Europe, scored quite a few goals, they're getting players back. But then you look at West Ham's record, I think they've got more wins in their last 5 games than Arsenal. So should we be writing them off necessarily? I don't know. Yeah, Arsenal will get the job done. They'll get the job done. But again, I don't think it'll be a battering. I know they have beat West Ham before, like 5 or 6-0. I'll go with a 2-0 or a 1-0. I don't think it's going to be loads of goals in that. Just for me personally, I think Lopetegui will try shut up shop. On to Super Sunday, people. Are you still with me? Do you agree with my predictions? If not, get them in the comments section. Leave a like on the video for us as well and subscribe. Super Sunday, Chelsea versus Aston Villa. When you look at both teams head-to-head, I think Aston Villa have the better record. But recently, in general, they've only won 1 in the last 5. Unai Emery's starting to slip a little bit after such a resounding start to the season where they was just didn't lose one in like 10 games or something ridiculous. Went to the top of the Champions League. They've had a couple of draws now and a couple of losses, so the form, they're going into a bit of a lull. Chelsea, however, they've played Arsenal, United, Newcastle, Liverpool and Leicester in the last 5 games, and they've only lost once so far. So with Chelsea being at home, I'm going to go with draw, I think. I'm going to go with 2-2 draw in this one. I think it'll be an entertaining game. Moving on to Manchester United at Old Trafford. Ruben Amorim's first game. We're about to do the preview for that for shortly, so I won't give away too much. But United fans won't like this at all. I think Thursday night was a good result, but I think Sean Dyche can make it stodgy. I think he'll make it tricky, and he'll try to expose the weaknesses we have in our system currently because everyone's trying to adapt and get used to it. So it's an unpopular prediction, but I think it's going to be a draw. A 0-0 draw. I think it's going to be a shit game. Whereas the one with Spurs and Fulham, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think this could be a bit of a barn burner. Spurs are a jack in the box. You never know what you're going to get. They beat Aston Villa. They beat Man City, scoring 8 goals in both games. But then they lost to Crystal Palace. They lost to Ipswich. You just really never know what you're going to get with them. So with that kind of sporadic theme, I think Fulham are in good form at the minute. So a barn burner. I think a 3-2 Spurs or 3-2 Fulham. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, basically. And then we go into the last game, half 4, Super Sunday. One of the biggest games of the season. Unfortunately, United aren't involved because we're 13th in the league. But it's still for a neutral. I'm not a neutral, but for the neutral fan, it's an amazing game and it's going to be a spectacle regardless. I mean, Liverpool at Anfield, if they beat City this weekend, they go 11 points clear. 11 points clear, which I don't know if any team's lost it from that position, just thinking of memory. Maybe there has been. Get it in the comments if there has. But that'd be a massive result for them. But I am going to go against it. Again, I'm going against the grain quite a few times here. And I'm going to say Man City get a result at Anfield. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they win, but I think they could get a draw out of it as well. And that sounds crazy saying I think Man City could get a draw, but if you've watched them losing to Bournemouth, Brighton, Sporting, you know, these teams, like, they haven't been at it at all. And the goals they give up against Feyenoord as well in the Champions League have been horrendous. So I think they're going to bounce back. I think Pep will have a plan. And I think, yeah, I can see at least a draw, bare minimum for Man City. So, yeah, that's my final prediction. What do we think? Is that too bold? Have we gone too bold on certain ones? Do you agree with my assessment of that? I want to hear everyone's predictions, so do get them in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and we're like just under 1,500 off that. So if you are new, you enjoy football content, you like lives every single day in different forms of content as well, it takes 2 seconds. Just click the button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and check us out on social media as well, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Enjoy the football because it's coming thick and fast. I mean, we've got the game week. I think these teams are playing on Tuesday as well, so we'll have another Premier League predictions on Monday. Busy, but that is how we like it. Take care, everyone. Christmas is upon us. Let's see what the fixtures gift us. See you in a bit.